When Natalia Volkova first started her vlog, she believed she had everything it took to be successful. Looks, confidence, and the crisp Moscow skyline behind her camera. But somehow her videos didn't click. Her makeup tutorials, fashion hauls, and life in Russia vlogs gathered a few hundred views at most. Her comment section was a graveyard, cold and quiet, like the Russian winter. She sat in her apartment one night, snow tapping softly against the window, scrolling endlessly through her analytics. "Why doesn't anyone care?" she whispered to herself, hugging her knees as the blue light from her monitor flickered on her tired face. Her voice, once cheerful and loud on camera, now trembled with frustration. Then, as if by fate or coincidence, she stumbled upon a channel. A Filipino vlogger named Mira Santos appeared on her feed, smiling, laughing, and greeting her viewers with a bright, musical voice. "Hi mga ka-lovelies! Welcome back sa ating vlog." Natalia blinked, confused yet captivated. The girl was sitting in a small kitchen, no fancy equipment, no studio lighting, no perfect angles, just genuine energy and laughter that felt alive. The comment section was filled with hearts and jokes, fans calling Mira ate, others sharing how her videos made their day. "This girl, she's not even rich," Natalia whispered in disbelief. "But look at her numbers." Mira's videos had millions of views. Her content was simple: cooking, street food adventures, small talk about family, humor about daily struggles, and laughter that felt contagious. Natalia watched one, then another, then 10 more, until her eyes blurred. She noticed something she hadn't seen before, not just in Mira's content, but in herself. Mira's world felt warm, familiar, human. The next morning, Natalia made a decision. If authenticity was what people wanted, she would give it to them, even if she had to borrow it. At first, it was harmless. She made a video called "A Day in My Simple Life," imitating Mira's cheerful tone. She added a Tagalog greeting she barely understood. "Hi mga ka-friends," she said awkwardly in front of her camera, smiling too wide. Her Russian viewers were puzzled. But when she added English subtitles and posted her first Filipina-style vlog, something strange happened. Her views jumped. Thousands of new viewers appeared overnight. Comments poured in from Southeast Asia, especially the Philippines. "Wow. Russian vlogger saying Tagalog? Ang cute. She sounds like a Pinoy already. I love how she copies our style, but she's still her own self." Natalia laughed as she read the comments, cheeks glowing. "Finally," she said to herself, "finally, someone sees me." She leaned fully into it. Her next video was trying Filipino breakfast for a day. She searched for Filipino restaurants in Moscow. Rare, but she found one. She ordered longanisa, sinangag, and fried eggs, struggling to pronounce their names on camera. Longa. What is this? She giggled, and her laughter sounded real for the first time in months. When she took her first bite, she didn't expect to enjoy it. But the sweetness of the sausage and the garlic rice comforted her in a way she didn't understand. It felt familiar, like warmth sneaking into the cracks of a cold heart. The video went viral. Russian woman tries Filipino breakfast. Her reaction is everything. Read one repost on TikTok. She gained 20,000 new subscribers in a week. Her phone buzzed constantly with notifications. Her next vlogs were even bolder. "I tried speaking Tagalog for 24 hours. Filipino street food challenge in Moscow. My reaction to Filipino telenovelas. Every view, every comment, every smile made her feel more alive." But something unexpected began to happen. One evening, while filming a new video, she caught herself humming "Tala" by Sarah Geronimo. She didn't even remember when she learned it. She noticed she was smiling differently. Softer, rounder, like the way Filipinas smiled in the vlogs she studied. When she greeted her neighbors, she added a slight bow, saying, "Good morning, Po," out of habit, even though they were Russian. Her colleagues at the co-working space began to tease her gently. "Natalia, why do you talk like that now?" One laughed. "Like what?" "Like, you're always cheerful. And that hand gesture, you do that Po thing." "It's cute though," she blushed. "Do I? Oh, maybe I watched too much Filipino YouTube." But it wasn't just imitation anymore. Something in her tone had changed. She meant it. One afternoon, while editing her vlog about how Filipinos celebrate Christmas, she found herself tearing up at Mira's old video about Bayanihan and family. Mira said something simple. "Being Filipino isn't about where you're from. It's about how big your heart is." The words echoed in Natalia's head for hours. Her content continued to explode. Brands started reaching out, asking her to collaborate. Filipino subscribers called her Ate Natalia, cheering her on. Some sent her fan art, drawings of her holding a plate of adobo or wearing a barot saya. Yet, amidst all the fame, she began to wonder who she really was. Was she just pretending to be someone else? Or had this copying become her real voice? That question haunted her one night when she received a message from Mira herself. "Hi, Natalia. I saw your vlog. You're amazing, girl. So happy to see a Russian loving our culture. Maybe visit the Philippines someday?" Natalia froze, staring at the screen. Her idol, the woman she had unknowingly built her new life around, was reaching out to her. She felt her heart race. Visit the Philippines. It sounded impossible. Yet for the first time she wanted to. Not for content, not for clicks, but because deep inside she needed to know what this feeling really was. Days passed. Her audience kept growing. She made videos about learning Tagalog, Filipino traditions, even small skits acting like a Pinoy. Each upload made her more comfortable with the words, the gestures, the warmth. One morning, while making coffee, she realized she was humming Anak, a Filipino classic her audience had recommended. Her reflection in the mirror looked different. Her smile had changed, her energy softer, her laugh warmer. She wasn't just copying anymore. Something inside her had shifted, like the coldness that once ruled her world was melting, replaced by the tropical warmth of a culture she'd never even touched. Then one day, she posted a video titled, "I'm going to the Philippines." It wasn't a gimmick. It wasn't a challenge. She packed her camera, her passport, and her heart, and booked a flight to Manila. As she looked out the airplane window, clouds parting to reveal the glittering islands below, she whispered softly to herself. Not for the vlog, not for the audience, but for her grandmother's memory and her own rediscovered soul. I think I'm finally going home. And she didn't even know why that word, home, felt so right. When Natalia stepped out of the Ninoy Aquino International Airport, the air hit her like a warm hug wrapped in chaos. There was the sticky sweetness of humidity, the smell of roasted corn and diesel, and the unexplainable hum of a country alive in every sense. Her phone buzzed with a message. "Welcome to the Philippines. See you soon at the cafe. Mira." She smiled nervously. Mira, the Filipino vlogger she'd copied for months, unknowingly shaping her career, her mannerisms, and, if she were being honest, her soul. Natalia wasn't sure if she should confess everything or simply say she was a fan. Outside, a driver held up a cardboard sign with her name, Ms. Natalia Vlog, in uneven handwriting. He smiled wide as soon as he saw her. "Ma'am Natalia! Welcome po. You want water or coffee? Traffic lang ha, but we get there." She blinked, trying to adjust to his friendliness. Russians didn't do that. People back home nodded, maybe smiled politely, but this kind of warmth felt overwhelming. "Spasiba," she said automatically, then corrected herself. "I mean, thank you." The driver laughed. You speak Russian, cool, but you learn Tagalog soon, ma'am." It wasn't just the friendliness, it was the sincerity. She felt it instantly. As the car merged into Edsa's chaos, she stared out the window, wide-eyed. Jeepneys painted with saints and superheroes, kids waving from sidewalks, small sari-sari stores glowing in the afternoon sun. Everything looked alive, even the chaos had rhythm. Her vlog camera was on her lap, recording. "Hey everyone," she said softly into the lens. "This is Natalia. And today, I'm not just copying a Filipino vlog. I'm in the Philippines." The comments would explode later. But for now, she just wanted to feel. Mira was waiting at a small cafe in Quezon City, a cozy corner lined with plants and fairy lights. When Natalia entered, Mira jumped up, smiling like she'd seen a long-lost friend. "You're taller than in your videos," Mira laughed. "You're warmer than I imagined," Natalia replied, smiling shyly. The two hugged, awkwardly at first, then tighter. "I can't believe you came all the way here," Mira said. "You've been doing so well online. People in the Philippines love that you appreciate our culture." Natalia hesitated. "Mira, I have to tell you something." Mira waved her hand. "Let me guess, you copied my style?" Natalia froze. Mira just grinned. "It's okay. That's what the internet is for. We inspire each other, diba?" Natalia laughed, half relieved, half stunned. You knew? Of course. You used my background song in your early videos. They both burst into laughter. And for the first time in months, Natalia didn't feel like an imposter. She felt like a student meeting her teacher. Over the next few days, Natalia followed Mira everywhere, with her camera always rolling. They went to a wet market where vendors shouted friendly greetings. Mira taught her how to pick ripe mangoes. Look, Mira said, slicing one open. Filipinos judge a mango by smell, not by look. Natalia took a bite and her eyes widened. It tastes like the sun, she said. They visited an elementary school for Mira's charity vlog. Kids screamed, "Eat Mira!" Ate Natalia. While chasing them, Natalia handed out notebooks, feeling awkward at first, then found herself laughing, crouching down, teaching a child how to write hello in Russian. The children repeated it, giggling. Yet, her heart melted. That night, Natalia uploaded a vlog titled, "I tried living like a real Filipina for a day, and I think I fell in love." It exploded. 1 million views in 3 days. But it wasn't the numbers that shocked her, it was the comments. "You don't just copy anymore," one wrote. "You understand us." "Your smile is now Filipino," said another. She reread that one over and over. A Filipino smile. As the days passed, something strange yet beautiful happened. Natalia started waking up early, not for filming, but to join the neighbors outside Mira's condo who swept the street together. They greeted her like family. "Good morning, Natalia." "Kain tayo mamaya." She even learned Tagalog phrases. "Salamat po, ang ganda, masarap." At first, she used them for content. But soon they slipped naturally into her speech. One afternoon, while filming in Intramuros, Natalia sat quietly as a group of jeepney drivers shared merienda, fried bananas and rice cakes. They handed her a plate. "You eat, ma'am?" She hesitated, then smiled. "Yes, Po." Everyone laughed, clapping their hands. Later, she told Mira, "Back home, no one shares food like this. Everyone eats alone, here. It feels like the whole country eats together." "That's what we call Bayanihan," Mira said. Helping and sharing without asking. Even with food. The word lodged itself deep in Natalia's heart. Bayanihan. A week later, they traveled to the province, Batangas first, then Palawan. Natalia couldn't stop painting the scenes with her words. The sea glowing orange at sunset, fishermen mending nets, children swimming under the rain. During one morning shoot in a small barangay, an elderly woman approached her. "You are from Russia?" "Yes," Natalia replied. The woman smiled, pressing a coconut into her hands. "Russia cold, yes? You take this. Philippines warm." Natalia blinked, holding back tears. She didn't even know this woman's name. But in that simple gesture, she felt something shift. Back in Moscow, she used to script her emotions. Plan every camera angle. Now, she was living them. Weeks later, her transformation became undeniable. Her accent softened. Her vlogs were less about comparison and more about connection. She laughed easily, used her hands when she spoke, called people kuya and ate. Even her audience noticed. "You're not just learning Filipino culture, you're living it." "Are you sure you're still Russian?" She laughed at those comments, but sometimes, when she looked at herself in the mirror, she wondered the same thing. During one quiet night by the beach, Mira asked her softly, "So, what now? You've learned the food, the language, the smiles. What's next for Natalia vlog?" Natalia looked out at the sea. The horizon was wide, endless. "I used to chase views," she said. "Now I just want to chase meaning. I want to give something back," Mira nodded, smiling knowingly. "You know, that's the most Filipino thing you've said so far." They both laughed, the sound echoing over the waves. When Natalia's next video went live, it wasn't a travel vlog or a reaction. It was a quiet film titled, "Becoming Who I Copied." The intro was simple, her first old video playing side by side with her new footage. The contrast was night and day. The stiff girl behind a cold lens versus the warm woman laughing with children, helping locals and dancing in the rain. Her narration was soft. "I thought I was copying a Filipino vlogger, but what I really found was myself." The video went viral overnight. Even Russian media picked it up. Russian influencer finds herself through Filipino culture. But Natalia didn't care about headlines anymore. She was busy planning something else, something bigger. "I'm going to stay longer," she told Mira one morning. Why? Mira asked. To learn more. Not for content. For life, Mira just smiled. Welcome home, Natalia. And in that moment, Natalia realized she wasn't just in the Philippines anymore. She belonged here. Her story wasn't over. In fact, the real chapter of love, of gratitude, of finding home in another world was only about to begin. The first snow of Moscow that year should have felt magical. For months, Natalia had dreamed of coming home and showing everyone the new version of herself. Brighter, freer, more alive. But as she stepped out of Sheremetyevo Airport into the gray, familiar cold, something inside her felt hollow. The air bit at her cheeks. The city skyline stretched out in lifeless white. The hum of people rushing by, all hurried steps, eyes fixed forward, no smiles, felt distant, almost foreign now. Her driver said politely, "Welcome back, Miss Natalia. You have many meetings, yes? Big plans for your next vlog?" She forced a smile. Yes, big plans. But in her heart, she knew it was a lie. 2 days later, Natalia stood in front of her studio window, watching flakes of snow fall onto the glass. The camera lights were on. Her new video setup gleamed, all white and minimalistic, perfectly Russian. But when she hit record, her voice came out flat. "Hi, everyone. It's Natalia," she paused. Something was missing. In the Philippines, she used to start with, "Hey mga kaibigan," or "Kamusta." Her tone would bounce with laughter, like sunlight caught in her chest. Now the room felt too quiet, too polished, too cold. She tried again. "This week, I'll be showing you Moscow's best winter cafes." She stopped. The words died in her throat. She turned off the camera, sighing. On her desk sat a small souvenir, a wooden jeepney keychain Mira had given her. It looked almost out of place among her sleek Russian equipment, but she reached for it like a lifeline. "Mira," she whispered. Her friends in Moscow noticed the change. "Why are you so quiet these days?" asked Katya, one of her oldest friends. They were having dinner at a chic restaurant downtown, surrounded by soft jazz and crystal glasses. Natalia stirred her soup absent-mindedly. "I don't know, I just miss the noise." "The noise?" "Yeah, the laughter. The chaos, the life," Katya tilted her head. "You mean the Philippines?" Natalia nodded. Her friends exchanged glances. "You were always adventurous," another said carefully. "But you can't live there forever, Natalia. You're a Russian creator. People here love your work, do they?" Natalia asked softly. "Or do they love what I used to be?" They fell silent. When she finally uploaded her Back in Moscow vlog, the comments were polite but colder than usual. "Miss your Filipino content. You looked happier there. Where's your smile?" She stared at the screen, rereading those words over and over. Her manager called soon after. "Natalia, the brand offers are pouring in. Fashion, tech, even a travel deal. You've made it. The phrase hung heavy in her ears. That night, she sat in her apartment surrounded by contracts and expensive lights. But her mind was thousands of miles away, by the ocean, with Mira laughing beside her, with children calling her Ate Natalia, with strangers sharing food just because they could. She closed her laptop. The next morning, Natalia tried to film again, this time about Russian winter street food. She smiled at the camera, but something felt wrong. As she tasted the borscht, she whispered unconsciously, "Masarap." She froze. That word, it didn't belong here. But it slipped out naturally, like breathing. "Masarap," she repeated softly, smiling to herself. Her assistant looked puzzled. "What does that mean?" "It means delicious," she said. "But it's more than that. It means warm." She looked at the bowl again. The soup was good, but it lacked something. Something she couldn't name but could feel. And in that quiet kitchen, Natalia realized she didn't just miss the Philippines. She belonged there now. Weeks passed, but the feeling only grew stronger. She began adding touches of Filipino warmth to her Russian life. Tropical colors in her studio, a ukulele on the wall, Filipino dishes in her cooking segments. Her fans noticed. "You brought the Philippines home with you. Even your snow looks sunny now." But it wasn't enough. She longed for the smell of salt air, for jeepney horns, for the sound of po and opo and everyday kindness. She started dreaming in Tagalog. One night, she woke up crying, not from sadness, but from homesickness for a place that wasn't even her birthplace. The turning point came during a live interview on a Moscow talk show. The host asked, So Natalia, what did you really learn in the Philippines? The audience waited. Cameras flashed. Natalia smiled gently. I learned that success isn't about views or fame. It's about connection. About heart. In Russia, I learned to make things perfect. In the Philippines, I learned to make things meaningful. The host nodded, impressed. Will you visit again? Natalia looked straight into the camera. Not visit, she said softly. Return. The studio fell silent for a moment. Then applause erupted. 2 months later, she packed her bags. Her manager tried to talk her out of it. You're walking away from the biggest year of your career. I'm not walking away, she said. I'm walking towards something real. Before leaving, she filmed one last video in Moscow. Snow fell gently outside her window as she spoke. This isn't goodbye, she said. This is going home. To the place that taught me how to see beauty in chaos, how to laugh in traffic, how to say thank you with my heart. Salamat Russia for the life I had, but it's time to go where my soul feels warm. The video ended with her holding her jeepney keychain. The final shot, her boarding pass, destination, Manila. When Natalia stepped off the plane, the air was thick and sweet again. The same chaotic orchestra of car horns and laughter welcomed her back. She smiled. This time, fully, deeply. Mira was waiting outside, waving a small sign that said, "Welcome home, Natalia." They hugged tightly. I knew you'd come back, Mira whispered. I never really left, Natalia said, her voice trembling. Part of me stayed here the whole time. They drove through the city, laughter and music filling the car. Natalia filmed little moments, a kid dancing on the street, a vendor selling Tahoe, a group of strangers sharing an umbrella in the rain. Her next video wasn't titled in Russian or English. It was simply called, Bumalik ako dahil mahal ko kayo. I came back because I love you all. In the vlog, she didn't just film the Philippines, she lived it. She helped a family repaint their house, cooked adobo with neighborhood moms, sang karaoke in broken Tagalog. The world watched, enchanted. She's not copying anymore, one comment said. She's one of us. Months later, Natalia opened a small creative cafe in Palawan, part art space, part vlog studio, where locals and travelers shared stories. The sign outside read, Kapi at Cuento, a taste of Russia, a heart from the Philippines. Her followers grew again, but this time it wasn't fame that fueled her. It was love. Children ran to her when she visited, shouting, Ate Natalia! Strangers shared food with her without question, and every sunset, as the sky turned orange and the sea reflected fire, she whispered the same prayer. Thank you for turning imitation into understanding. And for turning a stranger into family. She had come to the Philippines as a copy. But she stayed as herself, and for the first time in her life, Natalia didn't need to film to feel seen. Because the warmth of the Philippines had made her truly visible, to others and to herself.